Shifting our focus to European democracy and its model as well as experiment. Democracy is not a virtue, it's a struggle, a constant reminder of how political systems need to fulfill the aspirations of their people. And the one place where democracy seems to be getting a raw deal right now, believe it or not, is Europe. One doesn't think so, but that is what it's looking like because of failed or flawed elections and political landscapes in Romania, Georgia, Belarus, and the unprecedented logjam in France that only lifted just minutes ago. It shows that Europe is no longer in a position to preach about democratic ideals to the world. In fact, it should be introspecting or probably taking lessons from countries like India, which is running successful, large democratic experiments for the last 75 years. This report tells you why exactly democratic experiments in Europe right now are struggling and why 2024 could be Europe's big litmus test as far as democracy is concerned.
From the Black Sea to the Baltic, the democratic ideals that once bound Europe are now being tested. In Romania, the country's apex court has annulled the already underway elections in the 11th hour due to allegations of large-scale meddling by Moscow for a pro-Russia far-right candidate. Voters will now head to new polls in a moment that could define the country's path forward. The situation is similar just across the Black Sea in Georgia. Recently, the ruling Georgian Dream Party has put European Union integration process and its negotiations on hold till 2028, setting the country back on EU talks by 4 years. The move has triggered mass protests with most people in favor of joining the EU. In Belarus, the situation is even more complex, with President Lukashenko's hold on power more tenuous than ever. The upcoming January election is expected to be a sham, as opposition leaders remain silenced or imprisoned. From Belarus to Romania and Georgia to even France now, where the people and politics remain in logjam, the question arises, is democracy being tested in Europe? The continent that preaches democracy now finds its ideals under siege, its very foundations being tested. Meanwhile, across the globe, India conducts the world's largest, most diverse elections in a fair, free and inclusive manner. Europe is a classic case of practice what you preach or risk losing the moral high ground. As NATO watches from the sidelines, the fate of these nations may soon decide the future of European democracy itself. Traditionally, Western European countries have been a guiding light for their Eastern European counterparts. But the French playbook is anything but worthy of being copied. As Macron searches for another prime minister to preside over a fractured polity, Romania, Georgia and Belarus all are waiting in the sidelines.